Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're heading over to the southern tip of India, to Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're going to be looking at, well, I guess you could call it a bit of political theater. I don't know, maybe more like a drama.
hmm
And, well, it all sort of revolves around Tasmac,
Right. The Tamil Nadu State Marketing Corporation.
right? Which, as many of our listeners probably know, that's basically the state-run liquor monopoly in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, pretty much every bottle of booze sold in the state goes through them.
Right, exactly. And
Mm.
so, it's a huge source of revenue for the government.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it's also been, kind of a hotbed of controversy over the years.
I mean, it kind of comes with the territory, right? Anytime you have that level of, government control over a major industry like that, there's always going to be people looking for something to criticize.
Right, exactly. And so that brings us to this whole situation with the BJP in Tamil Nadu, specifically Annamalai and Tamilisai Soundararajan. They've been making a lot of noise lately about some alleged financial irregularities within Tasmac.
Okay, what are we talking about here? Like, what kind of irregularities?
Well, they're claiming that there's been get this, 1,000 crore rupees scam.
1,000 crore. Whoa, that's serious money.
Oh yeah, it's a massive amount.
So what are they saying? It's just straight up embezzlement or something more complicated?
Well, from what I've seen, it sounds like they're accusing Tasmac of all sorts of shady dealings.
Okay.
Things like overinflating prices, maybe kickbacks to certain politicians, the usual stuff.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but honestly, I'm not all that surprised.
Right.
I mean, we've seen this kind of thing happen with state-run monopolies before, and the lack of competition. It just makes it too easy to slip into less than ethical practices sometimes.
Right. And of course, the government's denying all of this.
Yeah.
They're saying it's all just political posturing from the BJP. But you got to admit, the way they've handled this whole situation is, well,
A little heavy-handed.
you could say that.
Yeah.
So basically, the BJP announced that they were going to hold these massive protests against Tasmac.
Okay.
They were going to have rallies and marches and all that. And in response, the government decided to, well, preemptively arrest a bunch of BJP leaders.
Preemptively.
Yeah,
Wow. So before they even had a chance to, actually
Yeah.
protest.
pretty much. Yeah, they arrested Annamalai
Mm-hmm.
a whole kilometer away from his home, just out and about, walking around.
Well, really? A whole kilometer? Seems a bit excessive, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then they put Soundararajan under house arrest.
Seriously?
Yeah, and that wasn't all. They also rounded up a bunch of BJP MLAs who were gathered at stadiums, to show support.
I mean, I understand wanting to maintain order and all, but this just seems
Yeah.
over the top.
It's a little bit much, right? Like, wouldn't it have been easier to just let them protest? I mean, it's not like it's illegal to protest, especially if they're doing it peacefully.
Right.
I mean, it almost seems like they're afraid of something.
Yeah, like they're trying to hide something.
Right. Like maybe the BJP's onto something with these allegations and the government's just trying to shut them up before they can really dig in.
Well, think about it. If these accusations of corruption are true, and they're talking about 1,000 crore rupees, that's a
Yeah.
huge scandal.
Oh, absolutely.
And it could have major implications for the ruling party.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that they'd want to keep a lid on things.
But here's the thing, right? By trying to silence the BJP, the government's actually given them even more ammunition.
How so?
Well, Annamalai has been using social media like crazy to call out the government's actions. He's
Okay.
basically turning these preemptive arrests into a challenge, saying that they won't be able to stop him from speaking out.
Huh. Well, he's got a point.
Right. And people are paying attention.
Yeah, of course.
So now the government's in this awkward position where they look like they're afraid of criticism and they're trying to suppress free speech.
Right. It's almost like they've made the situation worse for themselves.
Exactly. And really makes you wonder about the whole bigger picture here.
The bigger picture.
Yeah, like, is this really just about Tasmac?
Mhm.
Or is this part of a larger power struggle between the BJP and the ruling party?
I think it's both, to be honest.
Yeah.
On the surface, yeah, it's about allegations of corruption within Tasmac, but it's also about control and who gets to have a voice in Tamil Nadu politics.
Right.
The BJP is trying to gain a foothold in the state, and the ruling party is trying to maintain their grip on power.
Right. So this whole thing is really just the latest battle in this ongoing war, so to speak.
Exactly.
It's fascinating stuff, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Oh, for sure.
But in the meantime, it really makes you think, like, What happens when the government starts cracking down on peaceful protest? What does that mean for democracy? You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
How are people supposed to hold their leaders accountable if they're not even allowed to speak out?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. So that's something for everyone to think about.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's our deep dive into this Tasmac controversy down in Tamil Nadu.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into, well, who knows what. Stay tuned.
See you next time.